The morning my daughter Lila told me I was a fire hazard with an oven, I was elbow deep in dough, the scent of yeast and vanilla curling like warm ghosts around my wrists. She stood in the doorway of Grayson's Sweet Rise, open since 1978, wearing a silk blouse that cost more than my monthly flower bill. "Mom, we're shutting this place down, for your own good." Victor smirked behind her, already measuring the display case with his eyes like it was made of gold. I didn't know it then, but under the counter, inside the same flour tin I'd used for 40 years, was a ledger my late husband Harold had hidden. A ledger that would turn their greed into dust and my tears into triumph. My name is Eleanor May Grayson. I am 72 years old. And this is the story of how I rose from the ashes of betrayal with cinnamon on my fingers and justice in my heart. I wake every morning at 4:17 a.m. Not 4:15, not 4:20, but 4:17, because that's when the first batch of cinnamon rolls needs to go in. The alarm clock is a wind-up rooster Harold bought in 1981 at the county fair. Its crow is cracked, like an old man clearing his throat. But it still works. I pad to the kitchen in my late husband's flannel shirt, the one with the burn hole near the hem from a Rogue Spark in '89. The floorboards know my weight. They don't creak for anyone else. I brew coffee in the same dented percolator. Mr. Coffee, 1976 model, still perking like it's proud. I water the rosemary on the windowsill. Harold planted it the year Lila was born. Said every kitchen needs a prayer. I tie my apron, faded blue, embroidered with Eleanor's hands, Harold's heart in his careful handwriting. Then I walk the 3 blocks to Grayson's Sweet Rise, unlock the steel gate, and flip the sign to open before the sun even thinks about rising. Flashback. 1953. The first kiss. I was 16, working the counter at Miller's Diner. Harold, 19, came in every Friday for a slice of apple pie. He left a quarter tip and a note, "Your smile tastes better than pie." We married in '57 under the oak tree behind the diner. I wore a dress I sewed from flour sacks. He wore his only suit. The preacher said, "You may kiss the bride." Harold whispered, "I already did in my dreams." Back to 2025. For 44 years, this bakery has been my child. I delivered Lila in the back room in 1983 when the snow was so thick the ambulance couldn't come. I taught her to pipe roses on cupcakes when she was 6, her tongue sticking out in concentration. I paid for her college with lemon bars sold at 3 a.m. to truckers passing through on I-40. Sub-character, Mrs. Delgado. Every morning at 5:45, Mrs. Rosa Delgado, 82, shuffles in with her walker. Eleanor, mi amor. 1 empanada and gossip. She's been coming since '79, knows every secret in town. Today, she whispers, "Your daughter's car was at the realtor's yesterday. With that slick Victor?" I brush it off. Lila's just house hunting. Rosa's eyes narrow. "Mija, snakes don't hunt. They strike." That morning, Tuesday, October 14th, Lila walked in at 9:02 a.m. Heels, clicking like gunshots. Victor followed, phone in hand, already taking photos. "Mom," she said, not even looking at the tray of rolls I'd just glazed. "We need to talk." I wiped my hands on my apron. Talk while you frost. Hands are idle, hearts are cold. She didn't smile. She never smiled anymore. "Victor's found a buyer," she said, "for the shop. They'll pay $1.2 million, enough to put you in Golden Hearth retirement villas. You'll have nurses, activities, no ovens to burn you." I laughed. Actually laughed. "Lila, I've been baking since before you were born. The only thing burning is your conscience. Victor stepped forward, voice smooth as expired frosting. Mrs. Grayson, the shop's in debt. Taxes, utilities, equipment. You're one bad month from bankruptcy. We're saving you. I looked at the books. My books. Handwritten in Harold's neat script. $14,200 profit last quarter. I showed them. Lila's eyes flicked away. Those are creative accounting, Victor snorted. Old ladies shouldn't play with numbers. That's when I knew. They weren't here to help. They were here to steal. They came back the next day with papers. A quitclaim deed. A power of attorney. A brochure for Golden Hearth, smiling seniors playing shuffleboard, like prison with pastel walls. Sign, Mom, Lila said, pen in hand. It's for the best, Victor added. We'll handle everything. You just rest. I stared at the pen. It was the same one I'd used to sign Lila's kindergarten permission slips. Flashback, 1995. Lila's 12th birthday, I baked a 3-tier chocolate cake with fondant roses. Lila blew out candles. I wish Mommy never has to work nights again, I cried into the frosting. Back to now. I didn't sign. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table, eating a cold cinnamon roll, staring at the flour tin on the counter. Harold always said, if I ever leave you a surprise, Ellie, it'll be in the flour. You'll never throw that out. I'd laughed. Thought he meant a love note. But at 2:13 a.m., I opened the tin. Inside, 2 cups of flour, a yellowed ledger wrapped in oilcloth paste, a letter in Harold's handwriting, a locket with a photo of us on our wedding day. My hands shook so hard, the flour puffed into the air like snow. Subcharacter: Tommy the delivery boy. Tommy, 17, delivers flour every Thursday. Today he lingers. Mrs. G, you okay? You look like you seen a ghost. I show him the ledger. His eyes widen. Holy cannoli. You're rich? Keep it quiet, Tommy. Some ghosts need to stay buried. The letter first. My dearest Ellie, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Forgive the secrecy. I wanted you to bake without worry. Every extra dollar, every late night I invested, not for me, for you, for Lila. For the day someone tried to take your oven, the ledger is real. Every page is legal. You own more than this shop. You own the town's heart. Use it wisely, not to hurt, to rise. Love always, Harold. I opened the ledger. Page 1, 1979. Purchased failing Dough and Glory Bakery, $18,000. Page 2, 1982. Sweet crust, $22,000. Page 3, 1985. Morning bun, $19,500. Flashback 1980. The first purchase. Harold came home with flour on his shoes. Ellie, I bought a bakery. Another one? This one's in Riverside. Needs love, like us. By 1990, Harold had bought every failing bakery within 20 miles. He'd renovated them quietly, rented to young bakers, reinvested profits. Final page, 2025. Valuation, $12 million. $400,000 holding company, H&E Legacy Trust. Sole beneficiary, Eleanor May Grayson. I cried into the flour, not from sadness, from power. Subplot. The rival baker, Mr. Klaus, owner of Klaus's Crullers, hears rumors. He storms in. You buying up the town, Eleanor? I smile. Just rising, Klaus, like dough. Monday morning, Lila and Victor returned with a real estate appraiser. He walked through my shop like a vulture. Outdated equipment, grease buildup, needs full gut renovation. Lila nodded. We'll modernize it. Maybe a vape lounge with artisan donuts. I waited until the appraiser left. Then I placed the ledger on the counter. Before you gut anything, I said, read this. Lila laughed. Mom, stop. We know you're upset. Victor snatched it, his face drained of color. Page by page, his smirk melted. This can't be real. It's as real as the eviction notice you'll get for your apartment, I said. I own that building too. Silence, Lila whispered. You're lying. Call the bank, I said. Ask for H&E Legacy Trust. She did. On speaker. The manager, Mrs. Grayson, your quarterly dividend was deposited Friday, $187,000. Lila dropped the phone. Sub-character. The nosy neighbor, Mrs. Finch, from next door peers through the window. Everything okay, Eleanor? I saw movers. I wave. Just family drama, dear. Have a roll. Victor tried blackmail. Lila's pregnant, he blurted. You'd throw your grandchild into the street? Lila hadn't told me. She touched her stomach, barely a bump under the silk. I was going to tell you after the sale. I felt the floor tilt. A grandchild. And they'd used it as a weapon. Congratulations, I said. You have 30 days to vacate my apartment. After that, we'll see if you've learned respect. Victor exploded. This is elder abuse. No, I said. This is consequences. Flashback. 2005. Lila's wedding. I baked a 5-tier cake. Lila in white. Mom, you're my hero. Victor in a tux. Let's modernize this place, Mrs. G. I should have seen it then. Victor sued. Parental alienation. Financial coercion. Undue influence. He wanted custody of the unborn baby. He wanted half my empire. The courthouse smelled of bleach and fear. Lila wore a navy dress, hands over her belly. I wore my Sunday best and Harold's wedding ring on a chain. Victor's lawyer painted me as a vindictive crone. My lawyer, Victoria Steele, sharp as a pastry cutter, laid out the evidence. Texts. Get the old bat to sign or I'm gone. Recordings. Victor threatening Lila if she didn't evict me. Bank records. My $12. 4M Trust. Then the judge looked up. Judge Harlan Brooks. He froze. Miss Ellie? The courtroom went silent. You gave me free cinnamon rolls when I was 14, he said, voice cracking. My mom had cancer. You said, sugar heals what doctors can't. You saved me. Flashback 1999. Harlan's story. Harlan's skinny came in daily. I slipped him rolls. One day, Miss Ellie, Mom's gone. I hugged him. Then you eat for two. Victor's lawyer stammered. Conflict of interest. Judge Brooks. Justice isn't a conflict. It's a debt repaid. Verdict. Victor. No custody. No contact. $200,000 in damages. Lila. Supervised visitation until she proved change. I kept Grayson's Sweet Rise open, but I used the empire to build Second Rise, a network of free bakeries plus tiny homes for elders betrayed by family. Subplot. First resident, Mrs. Park. Mrs. Park, 78, evicted by her son for a pool. I give her a cottage behind the bakery. She bakes kimchi buns. Eleanor, you gave me a second rise. Lila showed up 3 months later. Alone. Pregnant. Divorced. I'll knead dough at 4 a.m., she said. I'll scrub floors. I'll earn it. I made her start with dishes. Then frosting. Then trust. She moved into the apartment above the bakery, named her daughter Cinnamon Rose. Every night, 4-year-old Cinnamon begs, "Tell me about the grandma who turned flour into gold." I sit on her tiny bed, the room smelling of yeast and baby shampoo. Once upon a time, a brave grandma found a magic ledger in a flour tin. Cinnamon's eyes shine. Did she forgive the dragon? Only after he learned to bake. Recipe insert: Eleanor's cinnamon rolls. Second rise. 52 locations. 1,200 elders housed. Cinnamon Rose, 10 years old, wants to be a judge, like Uncle Harlan. Lila, head baker, laughs like she used to. Me, still waking at 4:17 a.m., still wearing Harold's shirt. Last week, a letter came from Judge Harlan, Lifetime Achievement Award, for turning pain into pastries. I hung it above the oven, next to Harold's handwriting, Eleanor's hands, Harold's heart. Some mornings I find Cinnamon asleep in the flour tin. She says it smells like magic. She's not wrong.